Strickland's boxing style is made for 5 rounds. You saw it against Izzy Adesanya. He could have went 5 more rounds. But Paulo Costa, so explosive, so dangerous with his right hand. One shot can change the fight easily. If Paulo Costa can back up Sean Stricland, that's where he's going to be able to tee off. Because, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're back again. In this video, we're going to talk about former UFC middleweight champion Sean Stricland, and is his 15 minutes of fame up, and how is he going to go against the explosive freak of nature Brazilian Paulo Costa. And this video, guys, is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best app. You go to the App Store, download it. You can pick more or less on your favorite NBA players, NHL, UFC, more or less strikes throughout the fight, more or less fight time, more or less takedowns. It makes it really fun. And just recently, I just won my boxing picks, made some quick $600. That's PrizePicks. Code Timbo when you sign up. Put $100 in, they'll match your $100, and it's a fun way to watch fights. Check it out. So we got Sean Stricland, 6'1", 185 pounds, 33 years old. Usually looks like he walks around a solid 220. Some of these 185ers, they walk around 220, sometimes even more. Sean Stricland, 6'1", and he's got this boxing style. So he's coming off the split decision loss against Dricus. Before that, pieced up Israel Adesanya. Before that, Magomedov and Nassim Imavov. Now he's taking on an explosive freak of nature, Paulo Costa, but 5 rounds. Paulo Costa's 1-3 in his last 4 fights, and Strickland's boxing style is made for 5 rounds. The kid can fight, and he's a good black. We talk shit on jiu-jitsu all the time, but he's very good at jiu-jitsu, and he's very good at wrestling, very good at anti-wrestling. So when you take him down, keeping him down is a whole nother story. He's really, really good at getting up. And when he's on his feet, he stands flat-footed, stands really tall, flat-footed. He's not bouncing around. He's not super springy. So he's got that pace that can fight for 5 rounds. You saw it against Izzy Adesanya. He could have went 5 more rounds. Paulo Costa, so explosive, so dangerous with his right hand. One shot can change the fight easily. I'm curious to how he's going to come out with Sean Stricland. I've heard from Paulo Costa's coaches that the dude likes to train hard. When he gets his sparring partners, he trains hard, and it's not sparring, and it's like a fight. And Captain backstage told me, he's like, he's left his best rounds. He left all of his real fight in the gym. And that happens, especially with these big middleweights. They want to scrap and not spar. And then you show up to the fight a shell of yourself. You're cutting all this weight and you're beat down, and you show up to the fight 60% of what you usually could be. But Sean Stricland, he's so entertaining. He's a ticking time bomb. He says what's on his mind, and you can tell he's had a lot of trauma in his youth. But like I've said before, what makes these great fighters is they're crazy. Almost all of the great fighters I met, they got something a little bit wrong with them. And Sean Stricland definitely got some things wrong with him. He talks about it all the time with his childhood. He's got some screws loose. And if it wasn't for fighting, Sean Stricland, I think he said it himself, but there's a good chance he'd be in jail. He's training at Extreme Couture with Coach Eric Nixick, and they have tons of good wrestlers in there. They have tons of good strikers. The thing about the Extreme Couture is they welcome any professional fighter. So these fighters come in, you get to spar all these good guys all the time. So when it's time for the fight, you're used to sparring these good guys. Okay, boys and girls, so let's take a peek at Sean Strickland's best performance he's ever had. Remember, he took this fight September 9th, 2023 in Israel Adesanya's hometown, Australia. Traveled to Australia, and that is a long, long flight. Took it on pretty short notice, I believe. Everyone was counting him out. He was a huge underdog. I was counting him out. The way Sean Stricland swats at these punches, and when people feint on him, he swats. And Izzy Adesanya, he's so fast. But I think Eric Nixick had a big effect on this. Backstage, getting Sean Stricland fired up, like, you're going to go beat this guy. Izzy talked about it in his fight. Eric Nixick was seeing his setups, and he was calling out his setups before, and Sean Stricland was staying aware of them. But look at Sean Stricland, how flat-footed he stays. He'll walk forward. He'll be on his heels. Most people teach, never be on your heels. Be on the balls of your feet. And he'll walk forward, standing straight up, not using a bunch of energy. And look at Izzy. He's kind of moving a lot, using a lot of energy on the balls of his feet. And Strickland still comes out. He has good enough eyes. He spars so much that he does swat at these punches. But when he misses the swat, sometimes he pulls back. He paid for it against Pereira. But This fight, look at him just marching Izzy down. Doesn't have a lot of respect. You see it in a lot of championship fights. These guys like Anderson Silva, like Conor McGregor, even Sugar, they have this aura about them. And then when you're standing across the cage, it's not like you think it's going to be. Once you get in there, there's all this pressure and all of it comes down. Sean Stricland ignored all that. Ignored all that. All the way across the world, fighting the best middleweight of all time. And comes in there and shuts him down. So we're at round 1, 340 at 340. And you see Izzy fainting a lot, trying to get him to swat. And Sean Stricland just keeps that patient pressure. Patient pressure. Slaps that jab out there, and he doesn't really throw that jab to crack you. He just throws that jab to kind of blind you. And not even worrying about if he's southpaw orthodox. Mostly southpaw orthodox, you're circling away from the power hand, but he just keeps walking into it and he's not giving Izzy any respect, and it's a big part of why he won. This Philly shell style, people can't get away from this Philly shell style unless you've sparred like that and had years and years of experience at it, especially in MMA. Especially in MMA when you start swatting at punches and head kicks can come. Catches his kick here. Now we're southpaw orthodox again. And you can see Izzy, southpaw, flashing that too, trying to set up that head kick. And Izzy talked about that after that. Eric Nixick was calling that out and it was messing him up a little bit. Orthodox. Little question mark lead kick there. Takes good balance to be able to rip that off. That's the thing. This was Izzy's, I don't know how many title defenses he had, but once you get so many title defenses done, now you're just trying to get through these 5-round fight camps. You're not going to train for a 5-round fight camp when you're defending the belt for the 10th time compared to when you're defending the belt for the first time, or if you're even fighting for the title. So who knows how his training camp went. But like I said, it doesn't take anything away from Sean Stricland. Sean Stricland came out here, stuck to his game plan, pressured him, and made him look bad. And Izzy's having a tough time just landing anything. When you have someone pressuring you this hard that won't stop pressuring you, you have to be able to hit him with something to make him respect you and just slow down a little bit. And Izzy just cannot find his chin. Had a tough time slowing him down. We're at 130. Still pressuring him. Keeping his back on the fence, so he doesn't have all that space and that range to be moving side to side. Now he's got Izzy shelling up. Still, patient pressure the whole time. One of the best to ever do the patient pressure was Rory McDonald. He'd stay right in his range. Right out of your range, right in his range, and he'd pressure you the whole time patiently. Strickland's doing a good job at this. Really a nightmare for people to fight. And I've heard he's like this in sparring too. He's just a nightmare. Once he starts finding his jab and getting his rhythm, he just pieces people apart. Makes really good kickboxers look bad, and it's exactly what he did here. We got 35 seconds left in the first round, and Strickland's definitely taking this round. Not biting on the head kicks. Boom, and he steps in with a 3-2. That was, goddamn, that was beautiful. 30 seconds left. Orthodox, boom, boom, steps in with a simple 3-2. And Izzy's floating back, pulling his chin up, lifting his chin up as he's backing up, pulls it up, and Strickland cracks him. This is damn near the end of the fight right here. Hurts him really bad. Still 20 seconds left, and Izzy's real hurt. Strickland's got his hip, and he's fucking piecing him up here. Izzy's trying to gain himself. 7 seconds left. Strickland goes back to being composed and doesn't just empty his whole gas tank here. Back to being composed. And that's a lot of how the fight turned out. Izzy couldn't do anything to get Strickland off of him. Strickland kept pressuring him. All the big shots Izzy would throw, Strickland would catch him or slip out of the way and then back on his patient pressure. And it really threw Izzy Adesanya off and really shocked the world and gave him a lot of confidence. Who would have thought Sean Stricland, the middleweight world champion, taking out the greatest middleweight of all time? Such an epic performance. and you can't take nothing away from him. Let's talk about some problems that Paulo Costa could potentially bring to Sean Stricland. Paulo Costa, like I said, fighting this dude with 4-ounce gloves would be scary. He's so explosive. And he's the one pushing you back. So it's going to be a big teller who's going to push who back in this fight, because he pushes people against the fence, and he's one of the best at mixing body shots with hard KO finish shots. He's like a Chuck Liddell 2.0. Once he puts you on the fence, he's just throwing sharp boxing combos. And if Paulo Costa can back up Sean Stricland against the fence, that's where he's going to be able to tee off, because that Philly shell swatting at punches like that, when you got that fence blocking you, it's really going to leave some openings for some chin music. But 5-round fight, the pacing is going to be important. When to explode, when to let go of these combos. And I'm going to say it one more time, who's going to be backing who up? Paulo Costa, he poses a threat to anyone. He's so explosive. He's truly a freak of nature, and he's so good at pressuring forward. Robert Whitaker kind of used his footwork and his athleticism to bounce around left, right, side to side, make him guess. Sean Stricland stands there flat-footed. So we're going to see a boxing match with 4-ounce gloves in the cage, and it's going to be really sweet. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. Comment what you guys think below about the Sean Stricland Paulo Costa fight. I really like Paulo Costa, but I also like Sean Stricland. He gets people to watch. People want to watch him. He says all these brash things people get pumped up about. Some people absolutely hate him. And he's going against the character Paulo Costa, and this is going to be a sweet middleweight bout. This could be a main event on any other card, and it's going to be the co-main. Islam versus Dustin Poirier. The fight's creeping up, and I can't wait. Comment below what you guys think, and I will see you guys next week. Love y'all. Bye-bye.